what is it that you hope to receive from our practice today?
Less anxiety and fuzziness.
Is that showing up in a tangible physical way, or is it all just buzz in the head?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Have you determined if it's a lack of information or if it's projecting yourself fast forwarding into a stressful place? Can you tell that difference?
Fast forwarding and really feeling like I need to move and breathe.
All right, let's begin. Okay. Giving ourselves, first of all, this permission to interrupt our normal day's schedule, right? That takes not just discipline, it takes effort. And I want to celebrate that as an achievement in and of itself, to just show up and breathe. So notice the texture of your breath. Notice the energy that's held in your body. Is it restricted or is it flowing? And it might feel like there's some areas of the body that that breath and that energy is flowing, and other areas of the body that it's stuck or congested, resistant to that flow. So as we land, we give ourselves permission to just breathe. Notice what it's like to be in your body, to welcome this breath. If the breath is still struggling to be your sole focus, come back to the Annamaya Kosha, come back to the physical body. Maybe squeeze the hands or hug yourself, bring some tangible energy into the body. And repeat. Let out a sighing or an ujjayi sounding. Move into the lion's breath. So this is kind of the most non-resting bitch face that you can make, meaning make any shape that's not your resting shape, right? So two more. Check in again. I always find that if I start with my pause, with my breathing or my pause practice, I sometimes still need to lubricate. So if I haven't done a movement practice, feel free to sprinkle that in, right? But the idea is when the Annamaya Kosha, when the physical body can be still, it lets us shift our energy. Sometimes that energy is hijacked by the brain, and hence we can experience lethargy, depression, I don't wanna, or anxiety. I don't wanna there either, but that buzzy, that kind of out of control spinning sensation. So to calm the mind, let's use the senses to focus the mind. So open the eyes and in your headspace, look around, take a look. Take it all in, making mental note of what you see, and maybe even sometimes what you don't see because things have shifted. All right, there's going to be a test. It's not a test that you can fail, but there's going to be a test. So look well. And then close your eyes. Can you see the space around you? And then in this memory, this vision behind your closed eyes, start to remember the things that you saw. And name them, count them off. Use your fingers pressing into your hands or closing into your fist to count. And see if you can get to 10 things to name that you saw. Okay. So where you got to, just notice. Do you remember one thing? Did you remember 10 things or somewhere in the middle? We'll do that same exercise again. And by that I mean you can do exactly the same exercise again, meaning take a look around, a second go. And then we'll close our eyes and see what you can recall. Or an adaptation. If you really did well on recalling what you saw, then shift to sound. In that sense, we're going to use our eyes and our ears to observe what makes sound. Even if that sound is not being made now, for example, maybe your refrigerator is not running, but you see the refrigerator and you know that that sounds like, right? So you can name after you gaze what you hear or what you could hear, okay? So stick with just the vision or add the vision and the sound. Okay, when you're ready, close your eyes. You might even close your ears, again, if you've chosen for that auditory challenge, and then start to recall again, what are the things that you saw that make noise or that made noise, produced sound vibrations. Notice if you are ready now to direct a little more attention to the flow of your breath. Using the breath to bring the body and mind into collaborative rhythm. Inhale to the exhale. Let's just bring in a sama vritti for now, an even in to an even out. So perhaps you count, perhaps you just feel your way. Let's start with a few rounds of counting and then leave you to your own. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Continue on your timing. Stay right here, or add a pause between the inhale and the exhale. A pause of half the length up to even length. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, or the like. Emphasize the pause. Retention just a little longer, whether it's on both the inhale or the exhale, or one or the other. Stay in that fullness as long as you can feel safe in the fullness. Exhale into the emptiness. Remember, emptiness is not nothing. You be in the emptiness. Shift the energy's flow. Inhale. Linger here in this fullness. Watch how easily you slide from the fullness to the emptiness. Take 3 more rounds. Excellent. As we transition now into our just pause practice, notice if your posture needs to shift. And if not, awesome, stay right where you are. Because now we're going to use that technique from the beginning of our observing now to apply it towards your breath practice. So here in this still space, this quiet space, consider what the breath feels like, what your experience was with your breath. And you're still breathing. So it's not cheating to witness this breath now with the skill of observing and commenting. Not judging, not comparing, just observing and commenting. So in other words, how long is your inhale? How much effort perhaps is there in your belly on the exhale? How long is your exhale? Do you find a preference of one to the other? The preference is not bad. Noticing, not noticing, lends towards our unintended habits and attachments. Notice the pause between. Can you feel that energy shift, almost as if the valve itself changes directions? Pace, texture, volume. What do you notice in the breath? And then let your mind's eye, your witness, observe how the body is affected by this breath, by this posture, by this practice. What are you feeling in your toes, in your shoulders, in your throat, in your neck? Where is there effort? Where is there ease? So from the body, now come back into your mind space, your mana maya kosha. Consider the content of your thoughts. And if there are no thoughts right now, congratulations. That's an amazing thing. If there are no judgy thoughts right now, that's an amazing thing. But if there are some lingering judgy thoughts, some wanna, some anticipation, and maybe even anxiety, notice them. Notice them as outside your now, coexisting but separate for the moment. Observe and comment. Maybe there's a color, maybe there's a texture, maybe even there's a story as to why you would be thinking or feeling or responding in this way. But the story is just information. It's not a prediction. So now we're going to travel to that moment that perhaps you're fearing, that anxiety is propelling you into. Travel in your mind's eye into that space. And breathe. How would you like to show up? What will you see, smell, taste, hear, touch? How do you balance your safety with the challenge, the edge, the expectation of this moment. Is there a posture that helps you to be calm? Maybe a wider standing of the feet, or a hands holding yourself. Or maybe there's an energy of the body that's not helping you, a clenched jaw, a shallow breath, a clenched fist. Can you soften those so as to soften your nervous system, to soften your fear? Now that you're in this moment, fast forwarded to this moment that perhaps you weren't ready for in your emotional self. Is there anything that you see, know, that would help you be ready for what is here? You could do in preparation. You could give yourself in anticipation. Sometimes it's just the permission to not know what waits. Sometimes it's the compassion of some self-care prior to being pushed to our edges. Perhaps it's even an affirmation that yes, this has gone sour in the past. My past is not my present, nor does it determine my future. Just as I can control this breath, I can choose where to direct my attention. What else is here in this moment that could contribute to your anxiety, your fear, your resistance to being present here? And then traveling back to this now moment, releasing the visualization, releasing that time travel imagination, and feel again into the body, the breath, the mind stuff right here, right now. And no, our imagination is not 100% accurate. But when we can observe and comment the fears, as opposed to try to shun them, deny them, ignore them, they inherently have less power. Because the power is in the breath, the choosing to be attentive to what matters most. So having returned to this moment, this calm, abiding space of practice, what do you need to restore that which is fatigued, to nourish, to nurture that which is worn out, injured, to strengthen that which perhaps is weak or simply unpracticed or undisciplined? Maybe, just maybe, you're not even sure what that would look like. But we're in our imaginations. So can you imagine that you have now acquired this skill? You've done this work. Fast forward yourself again, this time in your new sense of confidence, calling upon the courage rooted in compassion, knowing full well that you may mess up, you may not do it right, but your worthiness is not dependent on perfection. Neither is your safety. What do you see here now? What do you feel here now? What is the breath like here now? You've made it through this experience. Notice what you've achieved. Perhaps it's just getting through. Perhaps it's noticing the true edge of challenge, of discomfort, of unknowing. Let's come back again to this moment. Feel your body in this posture. Open your ears to the sounds around you. Those sounds that you remember, those sounds that are coexisting in this moment. You might taste from your tongue, smell what's here or what's remembered from your space this morning, this day, this week, a fondness of where you've traveled. Then as you're ready, open your eyes and look at the things that you remembered, the things that made sound, the things that stood out. And maybe, just maybe, you start to notice things that need to be done. Just observing. Because as we close this practice, we'll close with one question, which is, what's the next right step? Next right step is whatever needs to be shifted to prepare you for where you're going. Whether the anxiety is in the next 10 minutes or somewhere down 10 years. What's the baby step to move in that direction so that when you arrive to that space, you can do so in a more embodied, mindful, compassionate way. And with that, we close our practice. Bring your hands together and affirm, I can learn new things. I can do hard things. I am becoming ready. I am already enough. And you breathe deeply, move freely, labor lovingly, and live vibrantly. May you be well. Namaste. Thanks for being here.